All right, here we go. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Week in Wrestling brought to you by Mouth of the Mark. We've got a special week this week. Due to scheduling constraints, it's going to be a short show. Mr. Daniel is in Mississippi right now, just playing a show with Freeman Hanley on their farewell tour. Daniel, how was the show, man?
The show is actually in May. I'm actually in Jackson just visiting some family.
Oh, I thought you were okay. Well, then I derped because I thought because they opened in Mississippi. Didn't their tour start opening in Mississippi?
I think so. I talked to Nixon before they left.
Because see, that's what I thought. Because I totally because I saw he was going to Mississippi. I saw you were going to Mississippi, and I was like, wait. He told me he was playing a show with them, but you're playing. Are you playing the Baton Rouge show with them? What are you doing?
No, we're playing in Clarksville, Tennessee with them, and that show is until May 23rd, I believe.
Well, then
it's actually their last show in Tennessee, which is where we're both from. So it'll be pretty emotional. I'm like looking forward to it, but I mean I've been playing shows with Nixon off and on for 10 years, so this is kind of like the last one. So I'm guessing it's probably going to be a pretty heavy show. But I'm excited about it. The other band that they're touring with is called Hardest, and they're amazing. If you haven't heard of Hardest, you need to check them out. It's just like the word artist except with heart in the beginning. So they're a really, really sick band. You should check them out.
See, I swear to God, I totally had a mental derp. Like I thought he was going to Mississippi, you were going to Mississippi. Hey, y'all was opening the show, but whatever.
Yeah.
We'll cut that shit out.
That's all good.
I can't botch in the beginning. I can botch in the middle or botch in the end, but I can't botch in the beginning.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So fuck this shit. And restart.
All right.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to A Week in Wrestling brought to you by Mouth of the Mark. Due to scheduling constraints, it's going to be a short show this week, probably about maybe half hour, 45 minutes long. So we're going to start things off with a quick view of Monday Night Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. And then we're going to close the show with a pretty nice prediction chat about Extreme Rules tomorrow night. So let's start things off with Monday Night Raw. Daniel, what did you think about Raw this week?
Raw overall, I give it a D. It was pretty bad, just because I felt like they have done pretty much nothing to further any angle except for the Rollins and Orton thing. I think that they're jumping the gun, pushing Kane so much right off the bat. Now, don't get me wrong. I do like that they're doing something involving Kane. I'm more invested in Kane than I have been in a long time. I like that they're using him well. I like that they're giving him steam. I just feel like they could have done it in maybe a different way than constantly putting him just directly in to the Rollins-Orton thing. I understand the gatekeeper shtick that they're giving him. That's cool, I guess. I mean, I know that they're probably going to end up using him, which is probably going to end up turning it into a feud between Kane and Rollins, which is fine. I think that'll actually probably be pretty good. I don't know. I thought overall it was pretty good. The only thing that I really thought was like, the having that Fandango Axel thing was pretty good. It was a pretty solid squash for Fandango. One thing that I don't understand is with the network that they're using now, why don't they have a movies section where they can have like the Marine and like, See No Evil and like, you see what I'm saying? Like kind of put over their movies. Now, I'm not saying like you should release the Marine 4 the same day, but it's like, why not get some views on those movies? Like I'm not going to buy the movies, but if they're on the network and I've already watched all the Beyond the Rings or whatever, like I might watch a See No Evil or like the Marine 1 or something and just watch at least half an hour of it to see if I like it, I feel like they're kind of dropping the ball on that. And I do feel like the Authority in general is kind of turning face, like with Triple H and everything. I don't know, with this whole network thing, it feels like they're going face, which is kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about that. Overall, I gave the match, the show a D, though.
I gave it a D plus or a C plus. Ziggler and Rollins really saved the show for me. But
yeah, it was a good match. That was the best match on the card.
But other than that, it was really a forgettable show. I didn't like the idea of the Miz and Mizdow thing ending on Raw. I was really hoping they would save it for Extreme Rules, and it doesn't look like they have a match announced for Extreme Rules for the two of them. So that really looks like they did wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, that's it, on Raw. And beyond that, the three most memorable things were Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins, Orton getting that RKO in the cage, which was sick. It was a really cool spot. I don't think it was as cool as the WrestleMania spot, but it was pretty good. And Triple H's promo for Tough Enough. Those were the top three things of Raw. Now, when I understand that Triple H is really compelling when he's shooting promo work, but for him to be number 3 in a 3-hour show, it was bad. But I like what they're doing, where they're doing video auditions, like everybody. I like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. But NXT this week was really good, which was, awesome for me. I like the fact that Breeze and Balor are probably going into a program together. That's going to be a really sick, string of matches they're probably going to have. Dana Brooke was a dud, as always. She's so terrible. They should just pull the plug on her. The Becky Lynch, Bayley, and Charlotte triple threat was probably one of the best women's matches I've seen in a while, even for NXT.
I loved it.
It was a great match. All the divas, quote unquote, on the main roster need to take note, because all three of those workers, especially having Becky Lynch go over, I gave that match an A. It was great, solid work, very compelling. I was into the match from start to finish. Pretty awesome. I like that they're not, and I like Hideo Itami faced CJ Parker, and I like that they're not burying CJ Parker. Like, even though he's losing, and I know he's already gone from the company, I like that they let him get shine. I think that there was definitely, I guess, the way that he asked to be released was, I think he really maintained a good relationship with them. The rumors that I've heard is that he's asked to just be let go for a few years because he wants to travel, he wants to go to Japan, he wants to work, become a better worker. And I think that he's going to be really good. I'll bet by 2020 he's back with the E, and he probably is going to get a pretty good push. He may not be CJ Parker then, but that's fine. I think that him and Triple H have a good relationship, which is awesome. I do think he's going to be a good worker, as time goes on. Rhino and the jobber that they put Rhino against, they didn't even name him. Like, there was no name on the thing. Even the commentators called him young man. Like, they didn't even mention his name. So I don't know. Hope he got paid well to do that spot, since they didn't promote his name at all for the Indies. Alex Riley and Kevin Owens. Riley was super over with the NXT crowd. Like, really over. Like, the most over he's probably been since his Miz turn. And it was a really good match. I was pleasantly surprised. I feel like he's kind of starting to win me over. I just think that they need to keep his promo work pretty short and sweet, because I feel like when he goes too long, it's too cheesy. But overall, I gave the show an A. I thought it was great. I thought the Zayn, coming out for the save and doing that 6 swanton off the top rope into the crowd was pretty awesome. Kind of reminded me of the old ECW days. It was pretty cool. Overall, I gave NXT an A.
Agreed. NXT got a solid A for me. Kevin Owens and Alex Riley was some really good work. The women's triple threat was amazing, and Becky Lynch going over was actually surprising for me, but I think it's going to be interesting how they work Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks. So I'm looking forward to it. And I agree to your point about CJ Parker not just look like a jobber against everybody, even though we all know he's gone. Give him a little shine. And I do agree. I do believe he'll be back with the E. He actually said in a post-release interview that he wants to travel like a lot of the big names in NXT now, where he can have that type of status where he's a seasoned indie guy and he can come in and have some shine already on him. So it'll be interesting to see what he does in the next few years. I'll probably keep up with him in the indies just to see what he does, because everybody knows that your indie character is going to be a million times different than your E character.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what he does out in the indies now that he's free from the E gimmick.
Agreed.
What do you think about SmackDown this week?
SmackDown was slightly better than Raw, which is sadly a trend now for some weird reason. The matches were better. My only thing, all right, look, I understand why they banned the curb stomp move. I get it, because it looks so devastating, and they're trying to stop doing the injury thing. You know, like the head injury thing is really big in all sports right now. But at the same time, they're doing so many like huge, big spike DDT spots. And it's like, to me, as you know, as a former quote unquote worker, been in the ring, taking bumps before, like taking a curb stomp would be a lot less dangerous to me because it's really just a side face bump and he's really just stomping on your shoulder. I understand that it looks devastating and they're worried about maybe an injury happening, but I feel like it's way easier to take like an Orton DDT from the second rope the wrong way and get a really bad concussion or a stinger or a neck injury than it would be for a curb stomp. I think, and his new finish is awful. It's really terrible. Even that he did, and then on SmackDown, instead of doing that weird inverted DDT thing, he did like this diving top rope knee to the face, which is to me even more could actually cause an injury. I think the problem is the curb stomp looks so good that they think that it's almost too good. You know what I mean? And they don't want people emulating it at home. I get that. But to me, the DDT is even worse. So I don't get it. I think the curb stomp's an awesome move. I think Rollins is a clean and safe enough worker to where he's not going to deliver it poorly to anyone. And you can give it to anybody. He can give it to Kalisto all the way to Big Show, and it's just as powerful. It's really stupid for them to ban that move. I don't like that call at all. Ryback Rusev was actually a pretty decent match. Probably one of the best Ryback matches I've seen in a while, which is surprising considering they're both big guys. So maybe I might start warming up to Ryback if he continues to work well. But, you know, we'll see. Time will tell on that one. And now what is this whole Jamie Noble as cousins with Harper now? Like, are they going to try to bring him into the Authority? Like, that was really weak and stupid. Kofi Kingston going over on Cesaro made no sense to me. And it was like a 5-minute match. I liked their little promo work. That seemed to make sense to me. I like that they're definitely heels now. I like that. But it's weird to have a heel versus heel tag team on the pre-show for the tag titles. I don't agree with that at all. That's poor booking to me. And I did notice in the main event, you know, having Ambrose and Reigns versus Rollins and Harper, one thing that I noticed is they did 2 separate hot tag spots. And the first one, it was you had Harper and Reigns both getting the tag, and neither one of them was touching the tag rope. And then later on the second one, Ambrose and Rollins both had a hold of the tag rope, and it was noticeable to me. Maybe as a mark, maybe I'm just watching the work too closely. But it's like, come on, guys. If you're in a tag match, you got to hold the tag rope. That's why it's there. Otherwise, it just looks like somebody didn't tighten the turnbuckle the right way. You know what I mean? Like, you need to be using the tag rope. That's just me being a mark and nitpicking, though. I gave this show a C, and I gave Raw a D. So it was a little bit better, but it still wasn't good. One of the worst go-home weeks for a pay-per-view I've ever seen.
Agreed entirely. I didn't give it anything higher than a C. That tag match was pretty cool. It had a couple of good spots in it. And I agree to your point that Ryback put in some good work with Harper. I can't tell if it's Harper being so good or if Ryback is finally starting to get some traction and putting up some solid work. If you're going to have Kofi Kingston go over Cesaro, it should be in more than 5 minutes, mostly because we all know how credible at one point Cesaro was. Right. You're talking about the first annual Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner. I mean, he's got to have some durability to him. But to your point of 2 heel teams, I'm about 90% sure they're just going to have Cesaro and Kid play the face, which, I mean, they've been getting pops left and right anyway. So, yeah.
And that's probably why they put it on the pre-show for the marks, because it'll probably be a pretty good match. And, you know, as far as workers, there's no doubt that Cesaro and Kid are the better tag team as far as actual in-ring workers. Not that Big E and Kofi are terrible, just that they aren't as good. You know, I mean, at least not as a team. I like both of their works individually. I just feel like Big E and Kofi as a team still, I really feel that like they haven't gotten enough traction there. I think that Woods and Kofi would probably be a little bit better of a tag team, especially going against somebody like Kid and Cesaro. But that's neither here nor there, really. To me, the match of the night for SmackDown was probably Ziggler, Neville versus Barrett and Sheamus. And I really think that Bryan isn't going to work at Extreme Rules, and it's probably going to be Neville and Barrett at Extreme Rules, which is fine. I'm okay with that, but it really makes me worry about the future for Daniel Bryan. I think if he can get healthy enough to drop the title, then I think he might come back after taking another month or so off. But I think if they strip him of the title again he's done. Like, he's permanently done. I don't think they'll want him back after having him, give up the world title last year and then give up the IC title this year, pretty much directly after consecutive Manias. I mean, how do you have faith in a guy like that after it? It's sad, but honestly, I mean, we talked about this last week. I'd rather him just stop than end up, getting really hurt.
Like Edge.
Yeah. Or draws even, I mean, it's a very good chance with a neck injury that serious that he could not walk, So, I mean, I would rather him stop and maybe even be an online personality, maybe do something like they did with Corey Graves, maybe give him a show on that network or, give him a quirky little thing, give him something. But I don't think he should be an in-ring worker.
Let him be a tough enough coach.
Yes, that'd be awesome. That'd be great. I would love that.
That would be cool. That would be. I mean, you got to keep him on TV because so many people like him. You have to do something with him, even if he's not a ring worker. Make him, a general manager or something silly like that. Give him something. But I agree. I hope that he gets healthy enough to where he doesn't have to stop working. But I would rather him stop working and stay healthy and mobile rather than working until he's crippled.
Absolutely.
So that covers WWE, and we both agree that it's probably the weakest go-home week that we have seen in the recent memory. Let's get into Extreme Rules now, because that is, the pay-per-view that is coming up. On the pre-show, we're going to have The New Day versus Kid and Cesaro, Big E and Kofi Kingston. Who do you see taking this match?
Oh, it's a pre-show match, man. It's gotta be Kid and Cesaro. It's gotta be. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. 100% Kid and Cesaro retain. No, absolutely no chance that they put New Day over on the tag champions right away. Absolutely no chance.
100% agreed. What do you think about Dolph Ziggler versus Sheamus in this unimaginable kiss me arse match?
I think that the match is going to be insanely awesome, and then no matter who goes over, no matter what happens, it's going to kill both characters for that gimmick to happen at the end of the match. It's going to kill them both. No matter which one goes over, it's terrible. Dude, I can't imagine why they would do this. It's awful, awful, awful booking. For a match that's probably going to be really good. If this match had been a tables match or a chairs match or a ladder match or whatever, or something on the pole match, shillelagh on a pole match or whatever, it would have been so much better. If it was a glitter match, it would have been so much better than a kiss me arse match. What a terrible idea.
The gimmick of the match kills the work and future angles for these guys. So who do you see going over? I see Sheamus going over.
I see Sheamus going over too. He's brand new.
Yep.
Brand new.
I can't see Sheamus coming back and not getting the shine.
Yeah. And the only way that they can do it with the kiss me arse thing is to give some kind of side face into his rear end, and give Ziggler some sympathy. That's the only way, the only possible way that it can even slightly work as passable. Because no matter what, it's not going to be good. The match will be great, but the gimmick after is going to be terrible, no matter what.
Yeah, because both guys are stiff workers. But the end of this match, the 3 to 5 minutes after the pinfall or submission is just going to be cringeworthy. But moving forward, Dean Ambrose versus Luke Harper in a Chicago street fight. Who you got?
Oh, Ambrose, no doubt.
Agreed. No doubt.
Babyface is going over. They got to put him over because they're probably going to do something different with him. The rumor is that he's going to go to Rusev after this. So I feel like having Rusev and Rusev. I don't know how they're going to keep Shawn with Rusev if he loses twice to Cena, but I don't see him regaining the title that quickly. So I don't know how they're going to do it. I see a big false finish, which is probably going to be pretty weak. Somehow he's going to get disconnected from the chain. He's probably going to run away or something like that. I don't know. I really hope Cena doesn't go over clean because that's going to kill Rusev. Two in a row. I don't know.
So we're saying that Dean Ambrose is going to go over on Luke Harper, and in the same breath, we're going to say that John Cena is going to go over Rusev and retain the United States Championship.
John Cena is going to somehow retain the title, but I don't know who's necessarily going to go over in that match. It might be a double. I mean, there's no DQ because it's a chain match. There's no count out, so I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know how they're going to do it. I mean, the only way I could possibly see them doing it is just like having the chain match go like to the outside the arena and they just lose track of the two of them. And that, you know what I mean? Like they just leave or go away or I don't know. I don't know. I mean, but that's probably not going to happen. They're probably going to put Cena over Clean, which is a terrible idea, but whatever.
Rusev is getting the Bray Wyatt treatment.
Yeah, which sucks.
So we'll see.
And Bray is definitely – those vague promos are definitely on Reigns. He's definitely setting up to do a Reigns angle.
Wrong. I already know who he's going for because it's been leaked. But we'll go to that after. Roman Reigns versus Big Show. I say Reigns goes over.
He's got to go over.
Yep, got to. I will go one further. I say that Big Show tries to make up for his last man standing match loss against Alberto Del Rio and goes to flip the table over on Reigns, but Reigns overpowers him. I say they make Reigns look super strong, and he goes over Big Show.
Yeah. I could see that. I especially think something like with the car that they did in London too, like they might use the car, like put Big Show under the car or something like that, under a car or something. I don't know, something like to that nature. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do, but there's no way that Reigns walks out of there without a victory. There's no way.
Agreed. Nikki Bella versus Naomi.
Well, I don't know why Paige isn't on this show. If her injury is an angle, then this is really stupid booking. If she's hurt, then I get
filming.
it. Oh, okay. What's she a new movie?
Yeah, they're filming a movie.
Okay. Still, it's really dumb. It was really rushed. There was no sense in her going over in the Battle Royal then. But whatever. I don't know.
I say Nikki Bella retains. And I don't know why they've got the Bellas working as face right now when they're as much as I hate to say this, their money is heels. You just love to hate them. You know what I mean? So I don't know why they had the Naomi heel turn. They're not going to work heel and heel. They're going to try to paint the Bellas as face. They were acting face on Raw. So I don't see why they're doing it or what it's going to lead to. But I don't see Naomi beating Nikki Bella. I see Nikki Bella going over.
Yeah. You're probably right.
In the event it happens, in the event that he is better, Daniel Bryan versus Bad News Barrett, who wins?
Daniel Bryan.
I will say Daniel Bryan if he is healthy enough to stay. If he is not healthy enough to stay, Bad News wins. Bad News versus Neville at the next pay-per-view.
If he's not healthy enough to stay, then this pay-per-view is going to be Bad News and Neville. If he's not healthy enough to stay, they're going to wait until he's at least healthy enough to have another small program with somebody and then have him lose the title. It's not going to happen at Extreme Rules. It will not happen.
I don't know because he's in the middle of a small program with Barrett. So I don't know. I can see them doing it.
But they haven't done enough. It's not enough money. There's not enough money behind it now because he hasn't been on TV. So they'll get him healthy enough to drop it to Sheamus or drop it to Rusev or, you know what I'm saying? Like they're going to do something where he drops it to a heel, but it's probably not going to be Barrett right away. And I just don't think if he wrestles, he will win. If he wrestles at Extreme Rules, he will win. That's my prediction at least. I could be wrong, but that's what I see.
Okay. And we've already covered Cena versus Rusev. So now let's move on to the last match of the night. The World Heavyweight Championship, Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton inside of a cage with the RKO band. We talked about this last week. I called Orton going for the punt, which we all know that's going to come. I still see Rollins going over. I can't see where you're going to use him as a transitional champion. After cashing in Money in the Bank
and building him for so long, yeah.
Right. You put so much time and investment into him. I can't see you putting the belt on Orton right now. But I will say this, it will not be clean. Rollins will win, but it will not be clean. I want it to be clean. I want Rollins to be a legitimate champion. I want him to legitimize himself with this pay-per-view. But I don't think it's going to happen this pay-per-view. I think it'll be next pay-per-view.
I think you're probably right. I think at this match it would be the prime time for him to go over clean because of the cage, or if like Kane begrudgingly slams the door on Orton, that probably might be what happens. But I think either way, I think either way, there's going to be some kind of skeezy finish. You're probably right.
Exactly. And the problem is that it'd be better for him to go clean over Orton instead of, let's say what you said earlier happens. Let's say that Kane goes face and faces Rollins. What legitimizes you more? Going over Randy Orton or going over Kane?
Well, that depends. I mean, if they continue the booking with Kane and could keep building him, I mean, like I said, I feel like even the IWC in general is a lot more invested in Kane. His promo work has probably been some of the best. I mean, he's never been a really great mic guy, and he's been doing really good promo work. I mean, he's doing a great job putting himself over for sure. That little spot at SmackDown where he actually had Rollins physically lay down and then, joke, that was a pretty good spot. I got it. It made sense to me. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think it would make sense. I don't think they want Orton to lose any steam. That's why they're probably going to give him a little gimmick thing. And then it won't really hurt Kane to put over Rollins clean. So that would make sense to me. Especially considering how long they've been building this Kane Rollins thing too. I mean, they've been building it essentially since Mania as well. So it would make sense for him to be legitimized by Kane. Kane is a quote unquote physically bigger guy than Orton. I don't know. We'll see.
Right. Yeah, but I'm going off of resume. You know what I mean? Resume for a world champion to go over Orton, who is what, 9, 10 time world champion. I mean, it's a bigger win.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's just me though. That'll do for our Extreme Rules predictions. But going back to what you were saying about Bray Wyatt going for Reigns, I have read that it is not Reigns. I'm hearing that it's going to be your worst nightmare. It's going to be Bray Wyatt and Ryback.
That sucks so bad, dude.
All the steam you just had just deflated. I just watched.
So you go from a program with the Undertaker to Ryback. And you know that they're so hot and so have this big boner for Ryback that there's no way you're going over clean on Ryback. So
Ryback's got to look strong, man.
Dude, that really pisses me off, actually. Like, I'm legitimately pissed about that.
If they
at least Reigns makes sense to me because they're trying to make him a main eventer, and Bray is a main eventer. So that would make sense to me. And I honestly wouldn't mind him barely going over on Reigns and them keeping Reigns looking strong. Because, I mean, even though Reigns, we've talked about how Reigns isn't necessarily the guy yet, he's still a mile better than Ryback. So.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know. But they did have that, they had that WWE, poll. They were like, who are these promos on? Is it Sting or is it Roman Reigns? And it was overwhelmingly voted Roman Reigns. So I don't know why they would, completely swerve and just go with Ryback because he has no steam. He just lost to Rusev. Why would it be? I don't think it's Ryback, man. I really don't. I really do think it's going to be Reigns.
Let's see. I'm looking on where I read it. And on the 21st, they say that as of this past Monday morning, WWE officials were planning on having a Bray Wyatt versus Ryback feud. Ryback is apparently the person Wyatt has been alluding to in his recent cryptic promos on Raw and SmackDown. Now, that was on April 21st. So if things have changed since Tuesday, well, Monday morning, whenever it was released, then I say Roman Reigns.
But you filmed SmackDown that Tuesday, and you put Rusev over Ryback. So if you're wanting Ryback to be a main eventer, you should have just given him a squash, fed him Fandango or Alex.
But technically, Ryback won by disqualification. Rusev just looked super strong going into a program with Cena.
Oh, yeah. Shit, you're right.
I can just feel the deflation coming. It's already here, dude. You've gone from so high, and you are just gone.
You know what I would love to see in a perfect IWC world? I would love to see a Neville Bray Wyatt run.
Oh, absolutely. If Neville anything, really, you know. But that's
Yeah,
but
I mean,
that's
honestly, I'm half hoping that Brian it can't work. I would love to see a full 10-minute pay-per-view match of Barrett versus Neville. That would be awesome to me.
it would be awesome. But I'd rather Brian stay healthy and then get a full 15-minute
But
Brian
you know what
versus
would make
Neville.
sense? You know what would make sense is having Neville and Barrett at Extreme Rules, having Neville finally get a big spot and go over, and then them do a triple threat at the next pay-per-view. That way Brian doesn't have to work as hard, and then that way somebody can go over there. You know what I mean? Kind of
Right.
knock Brian out at like maybe 5 minutes into the match, and then have one of those two guys go over and get the title. That way, if for some wild stretch of the imagination Brian goes off for a little while and they still have faith that he's going to come back, he didn't technically lose the IC title. You see what I'm saying? Like, that would make sense to me. You know what I mean?
Right. No, and I agree. It makes perfect sense. And I'd love to see it. Anything with a lot of these really good workers, I'm anxious to see. And then I find myself disappointed when WWE fucks it up.
Yeah.
So
What I did notice on SmackDown, though, is they used a snapshot of Rusev having the chain over Rusev's or over John Cena's face. It is the exact picture that I took from my TV. The exact one. Like, of the video of it happening. The exact one. Like the exact angle. I lined them up perfectly to my TV and my phone. It was like the exact angle of the chain on his nose, the exact face Rusev was making. That was my photo. I want cred for that. I want it. I know that you're listening to me, WWE. You should hire me right now because I will make your show so much better. You will get ratings back immediately, I promise.
and there it is. The word of Daniel John Schaefer.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us this week at A Week in Wrestling, brought to you by Mouth of the Mark. Join us for our Extreme Rules review Sunday night.